I'll write an engaging first part of the story in third-person style using simple and basic English with Korean names. Here's part 1 in around 800 words. When humanity's overkill redefines the battlefield. HFY Short Sci-Fi Story. The large meeting room fell silent as Commander Ji-woo Kim entered. She was the last human representative to arrive for the first contact meeting with the Galactic Assembly. Her dark uniform stood out among the colorful clothes of the other Earth diplomats. "They're ready for us," said Taehyun Lee, the lead diplomat. His voice was calm, but his eyes showed worry. The Earth team walked through big metal doors into a huge round room. Hundreds of alien species sat in rising circles around them. Some looked almost human. Others had too many limbs, strange skin, or glowing parts. Ji-woo looked at the main stage where 5 tall aliens waited. They had blue-green skin that looked like armor and 4 arms. These were the Venar, one of the oldest species in the galaxy. "Humans," said the tallest Venar. "I am High Commander Dak. Welcome to the Galactic Assembly." For 3 days, the talks went well. The aliens seemed interested in Earth culture and technology. Ji-woo stayed alert, watching the Venar carefully. Something about them made her uneasy. On the 4th day, everything changed. Ji-woo woke to the sound of alarms. Red lights flashed in her room. She grabbed her gun and ran to the meeting hall. Bodies of human diplomats lay everywhere. Blue blood showed that some Venar had died too. "Taehyun," she called, finding the lead diplomat hiding behind a fallen table. Blood covered his shirt. "It's a trap," he gasped. "A group called the Venar Pure Faction. They think we're too dangerous to join the assembly." He pushed a small data drive into her hand. "Get this to Earth, now!" Shots hit the table. Taehyun pushed Ji-woo toward a small door. "Run!" She ran through empty halls until she found a small ship bay. Alarms rang as she stole a small shuttle. Bullets hit the ship as she took off, but she escaped into space. For 2 weeks, Ji-woo hid in an asteroid field, trying to fix the ship's engine to get home. On the 16th day, a large Venar ship found her. Before she could run, they caught her ship in a beam. In a cold cell on the Venar ship, Ji-woo met Admiral Dak himself. "Human," he said. "You fight well for such a soft species." "Where are the other humans?" Ji-woo asked. Dak smiled, showing sharp teeth. "Dead. All of them. The Pure Faction believes humans are too unpredictable." He touched a wall and it became a screen. "Watch," he ordered. The screen showed Venar ships attacking human colonies on Mars and Europa. Buildings fell. People ran. Ji-woo bit her lip until she tasted blood. "Your species is interesting," Dak said. "Your bodies are weak, but your weapons..." He seemed almost impressed. "You make tools that kill efficiently. Most species develop biological weapons as they evolve. But humans, you build machines of death." "We do what we must to survive," Ji-woo said. "It won't be enough," Dak replied. "Our fleet heads to your Earth now. In 3 months, humans will serve the Venar Empire." That night, as most Venar slept, Ji-woo broke free. Years of Special Forces training helped her move silently through the ship. She found her way to the communication room. With shaking hands, she sent a message to Earth. "Venar fleet approaching. 3 months until arrival. They think we're weak. Show them how wrong they are." As guards rushed in, Ji-woo smiled. The message had sent. Earth would be ready. She fought hard but couldn't win against 6 Venar soldiers. As they dragged her back to her cell, Admiral Dak watched with curious eyes. "Why do you smile, human? Your world will burn." Ji-woo looked up at him, blood running from her nose. "You've never fought humans on our terms, on our ground. You think you know war?" She laughed. "Humans don't fight for honor like you do. We fight to end wars quickly, completely." Dak frowned. "Your weapons are primitive compared to our biological technology." "That's what every enemy in human history thought before they lost," Ji-woo replied. "We don't bring a fair fight. We bring overwhelming force." As they locked her cell door, Ji-woo stared out a small window at the stars. Somewhere out there, Earth was preparing. The Venar thought they were attacking a young, weak species. They had no idea what humans were capable of when pushed too far. Here's part 2 of your HFY Sci-Fi story in simple English and third-person style. When humanity's overkill redefines the battlefield. HFY Short Sci-Fi Story Admiral. Dak stood on the bridge of the Venar flagship as it entered the Sol system. His blue-green skin reflected the dim light as he studied the large screen showing the planets. Ahead. Behind him, 20 warships followed in perfect order. "Scan the outer planets," he ordered. Captain Tarek moved his forearms quickly over the control panel. "Nothing, Admiral. No defense stations around the gas giants." Dak frowned. 3 months had passed since they captured the human female soldier. Earth had received her warning message. Their spies confirmed it, yet there were no signs of preparation for war. "Humans are stranger than we thought," Dak said. "Perhaps they plan to surrender." The fleet moved past Jupiter and Saturn without meeting any resistance. The bridge crew relaxed. This would be an easy victory. "Admiral," called Tarek, "we're picking up small objects in orbit around Mars." The screen showed hundreds of tiny metal boxes floating around the red planet. "What are they?" asked Dak. "Primitive satellites," answered Tarek. "No weapons, just simple metal and basic electronics." Dak laughed. "This is their defense? Clear a path through this junk." 3 Venar ships fired their energy weapons. The small satellites exploded silently in the vacuum of space. On Earth, Captain Sunwoo Park sat in the underground command center. Around him, military officers watched screens showing the Venar fleet. "They took the bait," Sunwoo said. His fingers hovered over a red button. "Activate Project Hammer." Deep in space, thousands of hidden platforms suddenly came to life. Each platform held 20 tungsten rods, each rod as long as a bus and as heavy as a small car. The platforms had no engines, no electronics the Venar could detect. Just simple machines waiting for a signal. The rods began to fall toward the Venar fleet, pulled by Mars's gravity and aimed by Earth's best mathematicians. Admiral Dak was still laughing when the first rod hit the ship next to his. The rod moved at incredible speed, driven by gravity alone. It tore through the ship like paper, ignoring shields designed to stop energy weapons. "What was that?" Dak shouted as alarms filled the bridge. Before anyone could answer, more rods struck. On his screen, Dak watched 7 ships disappear in seconds. "Evasive action," he screamed, but the rods kept coming. Simple, primitive weapons that the Venar's advanced technology couldn't stop. The rods couldn't be shot down or deflected. Back on Earth, Sunwoo watched the destruction with a grim face. "Send the message," he ordered. The surviving Venar ships received a simple video transmission. It showed a human female in a military uniform, Commander Jiwoo Kim, the prisoner they thought was still in their cells. "Admiral Dak," she said, "you're probably wondering how I escaped. Your guards never checked my back teeth for hidden tech." She smiled. "But that's not important now. What matters is that you understand something about humans." Jiwoo held up a small rock. "This is a stone. The first weapon ever used by humans thousands of years ago. Simple, basic." She dropped it. "And yet when dropped from high enough, devastating. We don't need biological weapons or fancy technology. We understand physics, force, impact." On his damaged ship, Dak watched the message with growing horror as more tungsten rods fell around his fleet. "Retreat," he ordered, "back past the gas giants." As the remaining Venar ships fled, Jiwoo's message continued. "You thought our weapons were primitive. You were right. We use simple tools, but we use them very, very well. This was just our first lesson. There will be more if you continue this." War. In the Earth Command Center, Sunwoo turned to General Mina Choi. "They're running." "They'll be back," Mina said, "with a new strategy." Sunwoo nodded. "And we'll be ready. Project Lightning is already in place." As the Venar fleet limped away from Mars, Admiral Dak stared at the stars. Half his fleet destroyed by falling metal rods. No energy weapons, no biological attacks, just gravity and metal, used with devastating precision. "These humans," he whispered. "They don't fight like any species we've encountered." For the first time in his long military career, Admiral Dak felt fear. Here's part 3 of your HFY Sci-Fi story in simple English and third-person style. When humanity's overkill redefines the battlefield. HFY Short Sci-Fi Story. Daughter. Hyejin Moon stood before the Earth Defense Council. The large screen behind her showed the damaged Venar fleet regrouping near Neptune. "We have 2 weeks before they attack again," she said. Her voice was calm despite the tension in the room. "They will adapt to our kinetic weapons." General Sunwoo looked up from his tablet. "Then we change tactics." "What do we know about Venar? Biology?" Hyejin touched her screen, bringing up images of Venar body structure. "Their armor is actually part of their body, a biological exoskeleton that can heal itself. It protects against most weapons." "Most weapons," repeated Jiwoo Kim. The commander had returned to Earth after escaping the Venar prison ship during the confusion of the first battle. "Not all weapons," Jiwoo stood and addressed the council. "The Venar think in terms of elegant biological solutions. Their weapons and ships are partly alive. They heal, adapt, and evolve." She pointed to the images. "But that's their weakness. They've forgotten some very basic principles that humans never stopped using." Over the next 10 days, Earth prepared. Factories worked non-stop. Old weapons were brought out of storage. New ones were built using simple designs. Admiral Dak watched as his fleet approached Mars again. This time he was ready for the falling metal rods. His ships carried new shield generators that could detect and destroy the simple weapons. "No signs of those primitive projectiles," reported Captain Tarek. Dak nodded. "The humans had one good trick. Now we will show them real warfare." As the Venar fleet moved past Mars, they detected no Earth defenses. The path to the blue planet lay open. "Victory will be easy," said Tarek. Dak was not so sure. "Stay alert. Humans are strange." When the fleet was halfway between Mars and Earth, hundreds of small objects launched from hidden bases on the moon. They were simple missiles with no fancy guidance systems, just basic rockets flying straight at the Venar ships. "Destroy them," ordered Dak. The Venar fleet fired energy beams, destroying many missiles, but there were too many. When the first missiles hit the Venar ships, they didn't explode. Instead, they released a powerful electromagnetic pulse. Every system on the Venar ships flickered and died. The biological components of their technology, connected to their computer systems, went dark. "What's happening?" shouted Dak as his ship drifted powerless. On Earth, Jiwoo and Sunwoo watched the battle from Command Center. "EMP successful," Jiwoo said. "Begin Phase 2. The second wave of Earth's attack was even simpler. Old-style nuclear missiles, technology the Venar had dismissed as primitive centuries ago. With the Venar shields down, the missiles hit their targets. But unlike how the Venar used nuclear weapons, the humans didn't detonate them directly on the ships. Instead, they exploded just close enough to create heat and radiation that the Venar's biological technology couldn't handle. "They're using nuclear weapons wrong," gasped a Venar scientist on Dak's ship as systems slowly came back online. "They're wasting the explosive power." "No," said Dak quietly. "They're using them exactly as they intended." The third wave was chemical weapons designed specifically to attack the Venar's biological technology, without killing the aliens themselves. The chemicals made their living ships and weapons unable to heal or function properly. On his partially working screen, Dak watched as Earth sent a simple message: "Surrender or be destroyed." "They could kill us all," whispered Tarek. "Why don't they?" Dak stared at the blue planet ahead. "Because they want us to tell others what happened here. They want the galaxy to know what humans are capable of." As Venar ships began signaling their surrender, Jiwoo turned to Dr. Hyejin. "Prepare the peace terms." Hyejin nodded. "The Galactic Assembly has requested to observe the negotiations. Other species are concerned about our methods. Let them be concerned, said Sunwoo. As long as they don't become enemies. Jiwoo looked at the surrendering fleet. We didn't win because our technology was better. We won because we never forgot the basics of warfare. Sometimes the simplest solution is the most effective. Here's part 4 of your HFY Sci-Fi story in simple English and third-person style. When humanity's overkill redefines the battlefield, HFY Short Sci-Fi Story. The large meeting hall of the Galactic Assembly was silent as Ambassador Minho Kang walked to the speaker's platform. Representatives from over 200 alien species watched, him with a mixture of fear and respect. The human victory over the powerful Venar fleet had shocked the galaxy. Thank you for allowing Earth to address the Assembly, Minho said. His voice was steady despite the tension in the room. We understand many of you have concerns about our methods of warfare. A tall, thin alien with pale skin stood up. Concerns? Your species used weapons that most civilized worlds banned thousands of years ago. Nuclear devices, chemical agents. You attacked a biological species with anti-biological weapons. Murmurs of agreement filled the hall. Minho waited for quiet before speaking again. The Venar attacked us first. They killed our diplomats and attacked our colonies. We defended ourselves with the tools we had. But your methods, the alien continued, were effective. Minho finished. Tell me, how many Venar died in our counterattack? The alien blinked, its large eyes. Reports say less than 5% of their fleet personnel. Exactly, said Minho. We didn't aim to kill. We aimed to disable, to end the fight quickly with minimal loss of life. Back on Earth, Jiwoo Kim, now promoted to Admiral, sat in a meeting with the Venar Emperor. The blue-skinned alien looked uncomfortable in the human building with its sharp corners and metal furniture. Your weapons were... The Emperor paused, searching for the right word. Primitive, yet devastating. Jiwoo nodded. Humans evolved on a dangerous world. We fought not just each other but our environment, our predators. We learned to use whatever worked. But nuclear weapons? The Emperor shook his head. Such things are banned in civilized warfare. With respect, Jiwoo said, we didn't use them as you would. We didn't destroy your ships or kill your people. We used the radiation to disable your biological technology. The Emperor looked confused. But you could have killed us all. We could have, Jiwoo agreed. But that wasn't our goal. Our goal was to end the war quickly, with as few deaths as possible. At the Galactic Assembly, Minho was explaining the same concept. Humans don't glorify war like some species. We don't fight for honor or territory. We fight to protect ourselves, and we fight to end conflicts as quickly and decisively as possible. An older Venar representative stood up. Then why do you build such terrible weapons if you value life? Minho smiled sadly. Because we learned through our own bloody history that the best way to prevent war is to make it too costly for your enemy to start one. That evening, General Sunwoo met with Earth's Defense Council. The Assembly is still debating our methods, he said. Some species want to ban us from using our primitive weapons. And the Venar? Asked Dr. Hyejin. The Emperor has agreed to peace talks, Sunwoo replied. But I don't trust them. We should prepare for another attack. Jiwoo shook her head. No, that's their way of thinking, not ours. We've shown our strength. Now we need to show our wisdom. What do you suggest? Asked Sunwoo. We agree to limit our use of certain weapons, said Jiwoo. But we also place 3 doomsday devices near the Venar homeworld. If they break the peace, they lose everything. That's extreme, said Hyejin. It's insurance, Jiwoo replied. The best weapon is one you never have to use. As night fell over Earth, Jiwoo stood by a window looking at the stars. Humanity had survived its first interstellar war, but at what cost? They had shown the galaxy not just their strength but their willingness to use overwhelming force. Some would call it overkill. Jiwoo called it survival. Here's part 5 of your HFY Sci-Fi story in simple English and third-person style. When humanity's overkill redefines the battlefield. HFY Short Sci-Fi Story. 6 months after the war ended, the Galactic Assembly created a new classification for Earth: Deathworlders with extreme military doctrine. No other species had this label. The vote passed with many species looking nervous as they raised their hands. Admiral Jiwoo Kim watched the vote from Earth's new embassy on the Assembly space station. She smiled slightly as the motion passed. "They fear us," said Minho, standing beside her. "Fear can be useful," Jiwoo replied. "It keeps the peace." Back on Earth, the changes were already visible. Alien technology flowed to human worlds. The Venar, once proud warriors, now sent their scientists and engineers to work with humans. In exchange, Earth promised protection and did not share the location of the 3 doomsday devices still hidden near the Venar homeworld. "We never needed to use them," General Sunwoo told the Earth Defense Council. "The threat was enough." Dr. Hyejin nodded. "The Venar Empire has become our strongest ally. Their biological technology combined with our engineering is creating amazing new tools." On a hill overlooking the new Earth Venar Research Center, Jiwoo met with the Venar Emperor. They watched as alien and human scientists walked together between the buildings. "1 year ago we were enemies," the Emperor said. "Now our people work side by side." "That's how humans prefer it," said Jiwoo. "We fight hard, but we'd rather not fight at all." The Emperor turned his blue face toward her. "Other species in the galaxy are studying your weapons now. They fear you may use them against others." "We won't," Jiwoo said, "unless we're attacked first." The Emperor looked back at the research center. "Some call this the human era. They say the old powers like the Venar are finished." "Not finished," Jiwoo corrected. "Changed. The galaxy needed changing." 3 weeks later, the first human military academy for alien species opened. Young officers from 20 different worlds came to learn how humans thought about war and peace. Admiral Jiwoo walked through the halls watching alien students study Earth's military history. In one classroom, a young Venar named Taro raised his hand. "Admiral, I have a question." Jiwoo nodded for him to continue. "Why do humans build weapons they never use?" Taro asked. "Our records show you have devices that could destroy entire planets. Yet in your war with us, you chose simpler weapons that caused less damage." The room fell silent. All the alien students watched Jiwoo, waiting for her answer. "The best weapons," Jiwoo said slowly, "are the ones you never have to fire. Humans understand something many species forget. The purpose of war isn't to kill, it's to win. And the best victory is one where your enemy chooses to stop fighting." She walked to the window and looked out at the stars. "We build terrible weapons and hope we never use them. We prepare for the worst while working for the best. That's the human way." As the class ended, Jiwoo received a message from Earth. The SIO Defense Council had approved her plan for a joint human-alien peacekeeping fleet. Ships from 30 species would work together under mixed command. The message ended with a note from General Sunwoo. "The galaxy is learning our most important lesson. Respect comes not from how you fight, but from knowing when not to." Jiwoo smiled as she watched her alien students leave the classroom. The war had changed everything. Humans were now a power in the galaxy, not because they had won a battle, but because they had shown both strength and mercy. That was humanity's true weapon, the ability to be both terrible and kind, often in the same moment. And that more than any bomb or gun had redefined the battlefield forever.